There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. Before you react, think. Before you spend, earn. Before you criticize, wait. Before you quit, try. The rain will stop, the night will end, the hurt will fade. Hope is never so lost that it can't be found. The best people possess a feeling for beauty, the courage to take risks, the discipline to tell the truth, the capacity for sacrifice. Ironically, their virtues make them vulnerable. They are often wounded, sometimes destroyed. Critics are men who watch a battle from a high place then come down and shoot the survivors. Night is always darker before the dawn and life is the same. The hard times will pass, everything will get better and sun will shine brighter than ever. I love you for all that you are, all that you have been, all that you're yet to be. Try to learn to breathe deeply, really to taste food when you eat, and when you sleep, really to sleep. Try as much as possible to be wholly alive with all your might, and when you laugh, laugh like hell. And when you get angry, get good and angry. Try to be alive. You'll be dead soon enough. Be fully in the moment, open yourself to the powerful energies dancing around you. The thing is to become a master and in your old age to acquire the courage to do what children did when they knew nothing. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, some are strong at the broken places. The first panacea for a mismanaged nation is inflation of the currency, the second is war. Both bring a temporary prosperity, both bring a permanent ruin. But both are the refuge of political and economic opportunists. The most painful thing is losing yourself in the process of loving someone too much, and forgetting that you are special too. Worry a little bit every day and in a lifetime you will lose a couple of years. If something is wrong, fix it if you can. But train yourself not to worry, worry never fixes anything. Once in Africa I lost the corkscrew and we were forced to live off food and water for weeks. We are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. I'm with you. No matter what else you have in your head, I'm with you and I love you. Work every day. No matter what has happened the day or night before, get up and bite on the nail. Remember, everything is right until it's wrong. You'll know when it's wrong. Always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. I like to listen. I have learned a great deal from listening carefully. Most people never listen. Everything about him was old except his eyes, and they were the same color as the sea and were cheerful and undefeated. Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. The only thing that can spoil a day is people, and if you can keep from making engagements, every day has no limits. Live the full life of the mind, exhilarated by new ideas, intoxicated by the romance of the unusual. War is no longer made by simply analyzed economic forces if it ever was. War is made or planned now by individual men. Demagogues and dictators who play on the patriotism of their people to mislead them into a belief in the great fallacy of war when all their vaunted reforms have failed to satisfy the people they misrule. Home is where the heart is, home is where the fart is. Come, let us fart in the home. There is no art in a fart. Still, a fart may not be artless. Let us fart and artless fart in the home. I love sleep. My life has the tendency to fall apart when I'm awake, you know? There are some things which cannot be learned quickly, and time, which is all we have, must be paid heavily for their acquiring. They are the very simplest things, and because it takes a man's life to know them, the little that each man gets from life is very costly and the only heritage he has to leave. No animal has more liberty than the cat, but it buries the mess it makes. The cat is the best anarchist. Where a man feels at home, outside of where he's born, is where he's meant to go. No, that is the great fallacy, the wisdom of old men. They do not grow wise. They grow careful. All you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know. If the others heard me talking out loud, they would think that I am crazy. But since I am not, I do not care. Being against evil doesn't make you good. Tonight I was against it, and then I was evil myself. I could feel it coming just like a tide. I just want to destroy them. But when you start taking pleasure in it, you are awfully close to the thing you're fighting. Intelligence is so damn rare, and the people who have it often have such a bad time with it that they get bitter or propagandistic, and then it's not much use. Use short sentences. Use short first paragraphs. Use vigorous English. Be positive, not negative. There is no such thing as great writing, there is only great rewriting. Auto racing, bullfighting, and mountain climbing are the only real sports. All the others are games. Today is only one day in all the days that will ever be. But what will happen in all the other days that ever come can depend on what you do today. It's been that way all this year. It's been that way so many times. All of war is that way. I thought that all generations were lost by something and always had been and always would be. The coward dies 1,000 deaths, the brave but one. The man who first said that was probably a coward. He knew a great deal about cowards but nothing about the brave. The brave dies perhaps 2,000 deaths if he's intelligent. He simply doesn't mention them. The first and final thing you have to do in this world is to last it and not be smashed by it. But man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed but not defeated. I know the night is not the same as the day, that all things are different, that the things of the night cannot be explained in the day, because they do not then exist, and the night can be a dreadful time for lonely people once their loneliness has started. The only thing that could spoil a day was people. People were always the limiters of happiness except for the very few that were as good as spring itself. You could omit anything if you knew that the omitted part would strengthen a short story and make people feel something more than they understood. I rewrote the ending of Farewell to Arms 39 times before I was satisfied. Worry destroys the ability to write. Ill health is bad in the ratio that it produces worry, which attacks your subconscious and destroys your reserves. The worst death for anyone is to lose the center of his being, the thing he really is. Retirement is the filthiest word in the language. Whether by choice or by fate, to retire from what you do, and makes you what you are, is to back up into the grave. First, there must be talent, then there must be discipline, then there must be an absolute conscience, to prevent faking. We would be together and have our books and at night be warm in bed together with the windows open and the stars bright. There is no hunting like the hunting of man, and those who have hunted armed men long enough and liked it, never care for anything else thereafter. When you love, you wish to do things for. You wish to sacrifice for. You wish to serve. I loved you when I saw you today and I loved you always, but I never saw you before. There are two kinds of stories, the ones you live and the ones you make up. And nobody knows the difference, and I don't ever tell which is which. Everyone has his own conscience. And there should be no rules about how a conscience should function. Wine offers a greater range for enjoyment and appreciation than possibly any other purely sensory thing which may be purchased. Imagination? It is the one thing beside honesty that a good writer must have. The more he learns from experience, the more he can imagine. My aim is to put down on paper what I see and what I feel in the best and simplest way. To be able to say, I loved this person, we had a hell of a nice time together, it's over, but in a way it will never be over, and I do know that I for sure love this person. To be able to say that and mean it, that's rare. That's rare and valuable. Find what gave you emotion, what the action was that gave you excitement. Then write it down, making it clear so that the reader can see it too. Prose is architecture, not interior decoration, and the Baroque is over. Perhaps I should not have been a fisherman, he thought. But that was the thing that I was born for. There are only 3 sports: bullfighting, motor racing, and mountaineering. All the rest are merely games. The best way is always to stop when you are going good and when you know what will happen next. If you do that every day when you are writing a novel, you will never be stuck. That is the most valuable thing I can tell you, so try to remember it. You cannot stop trusting people in life, but I have learned to be a little bit careful. The way to make people trustworthy is to trust them. And how much better to die in all the happy period of undisillusioned youth, to go out in a blaze of light, than to have your body worn out and old and illusions shattered. About morals, I know only that what is moral is what you feel good after, and what is immoral is what you feel bad after. The best ammunition against lies is the truth. There is no ammunition against gossip. It is like a fog, and the clear wind blows it away and the sun burns it off. In the morning there was a big wind blowing and the waves were running high up on the beach, and he was awake a long time before he remembered that his heart was broken. Only one marriage I regret. I remember after I got that marriage license I went across from the license bureau to a bar for a drink. The bartender said, "What will you have, sir?" And I said, "A glass of hemlock." He rested sitting on the UN stepped mast and sail and tried not to think but only to endure. Because fascism is a lie, it is condemned to literary sterility. And when it is past, it will have no history, except the bloody history of murder.